Alrighty, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Brooke Beisel. I'm the NAWLA Tradeshow Manager, and I also have two of my colleagues on this as well. So I will go ahead and let them introduce themselves. Rob?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. For all of you who do not know me, my name is Rob Schrader. I handle sales for the organization, and I will be participating in the webinar today, handling the majority of the slides that we go over, just about familiarizing yourself with the virtual platform, learning all of the nuances and tips and tricks on how to get your profile and virtual exhibit booth set up. So thanks again for joining us, and we will get this started off soon. Kelsey?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kelsey Kwasniak. I support our exhibits and trade shows team, and Brooke specifically as our manager. You've probably seen my name on quite a few emails in the last few weeks, so appreciate all of the support. I will hand it off to Brooke to get us started.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, we will go ahead and get started. Welcome to the NAWLA Exchange. We're really excited for our event that will be taking place very shortly. It's right around the corner. So our team, we're looking forward to having you. We're glad that you guys are participating. As a reminder, NAWLA's virtual platform is Pathable. Pathable is a virtual event platform that brings critical components for our successful event. We plan to utilize this platform to bring content and learning to all of our attendees, along with our exhibitors and sponsors. And we just want to have this be as seamless as possible and build a great opportunity for you guys to have those connections, even though we're not meeting in person. So we are excited that you guys will be able to view this platform. The benefits, this is a list of a few of the many benefits of Pathable, which include brand recognition, company highlights, lead generation, interactivity, attendee messaging, a virtual booth, and accessibility. This platform is very user-friendly, and we are going to provide all of the necessary tools and resources to you guys to ensure that this is very seamless as possible. And there's also going to be lead generation, so you guys will be able to see who attends and visits your booth, export those leads as well to have the follow-up. You'll also be able to message and set up meetings with people that are going to be attending the event. So NAWLA Show Management has registered your booth staff on behalf using your complimentary allotment that came with your virtual booth. A separate registration confirmation has been sent to those individuals. If you did not receive a registration confirmation email, please reach out to Kelsey or myself, and we'll make sure that that is sent over to you. We usually send you guys a discount code to apply for your complimentary, but we went ahead with the information that you guys provided us and got those folks registered. So those individuals are already taken care of on our end. If the individuals from your team would like to register for the event, there is still time. They can register through the NAWLA website. After they register, just let myself know, and we can go ahead on the back end and make sure everything is all set on the exhibitor side of it. Next, we will go over the company profile, and I will give this off to Rob. Rob?
Thank you, Brooke. Alrighty, folks, so this is where we're gonna kind of get into the nitty-gritty and really just take a high-level approach of the platform itself and all of the little nuances and how to navigate the platform itself. So on the screen right now, you will see an image of basically the landing page or profile of what the virtual exhibit booth will look like for every confirmed exhibitor. This is just a mock example of our NAWLA staff booth that we will actually have. Again, our staff will have a virtual booth as well, where we will be fielding inquiries, help answer any questions, anything of that sort. But you'll see here from a high level, it is very, very user-friendly and provides tons of information about the organization. You are able to upload your company description, company logos. You can add in YouTube videos, Vimeos, any sort of marketing collateral or PDFs. It's very user-friendly, and again, you can kind of customize this to however you see fit to provide any necessary information that you may want the attendees to have. We have already gone through and actually set up your company information in the platform based on the data and information that you submitted via SurveyMonkey. But again, if you want to add or update or change any of the company information moving forward, you can certainly do so at any time. And later on in the scripts, we'll show you how to do that. So just stay tuned. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to walk you through kind of how to update and change and add information to your company profile. So when you are logged into the platform, up in the top right-hand corner, you will see several different buttons or headers that you can click on. You simply click on the tab that says Exhibitors, and then there'll be a little drop-down box that says Edit Profile, Edit My Organization, etc. You click on Edit My Organization, and from there, you will be taken to your landing page where you can, add videos about your company, update or add PDFs, change your company description. Anything that you see fit will fall under this Edit My Organization. Please make sure that you do not do that under Edit My Profile. The difference between the two is Edit My Profile is specific to the individual. So that would be, my individual profile, Rob, versus NAWLA, the organization. The one thing that we do ask is that every exhibiting company have all of their material for their booth set up by call of business on Friday, October 16th. So please make sure you mark that on your calendar as the deadline. Again, when you go into that Edit My Organization page, you'll be able to add polls, upload YouTube videos, Vimeo videos, any sort of marketing collateral that your team already has. So once you get into the platform, you'll be able to see. All right, next slide. We're going to dive into how to actually upload the files. So once you are in your organization, you will see here that there is a tab called Files. Once you click on Files, this is where you can physically upload all the material you may have, whether it is a video, marketing PDFs, polls, if there's links to your company Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn pages, whatever you want, you can physically upload this material, and as always, make sure you hit save, otherwise it will not save. You simply just click on Upload File, you copy and paste, or you can drag it and hit Submit. And one thing to remember is that your video must be uploaded in the order you would like them to be displayed. So if there is one particular video or marketing bit that your marketing team has put together, and if you want that to be displayed first, then make sure you upload that in the corresponding manner. Otherwise, if you load it last, it'll obviously be listed last and folks may not view it, or they'll have to scroll down further on to the page to view it. So make sure that you list it in order of how you want it to appear on your profile page. Next slide, please. All right, one of the other cool benefits of this is the polling feature. Again, when you are updating or uploading information to your company organization profile, you have the ability to create up to 3 polls, not only to create interaction with the attendees, but again, to incite interaction and open dialogue with folks who may be interested in your services or your products. So for example, if you want to do something, fun and light, you could have a poll as simple as, how many of the attendees or how many of you are working 100% remote versus how many of you are in the office. You can make these polls as customizable as you want. Again, it's just another benefit that you can add onto your profile to set yourself apart and drive traffic to your booth versus some of the folks who simply do not partake in this asset within the virtual platform. Next slide, please. All right. Staffing your virtual booth. This is a very, very, very important component to the experience. So please make sure that you listen to this and take notes if needed. So when you are uploading all of your marketing material, your videos, your PDFs, anything that you are basically adding to your virtual exhibit booth, you will also have the ability to upload whomever from your organization will be attending and or staffing the virtual exhibit booth. You will be able to upload profile pictures, their name, their title, contact information, etc. So as attendees are visiting your virtual exhibit booth, they can actually put a face to the name of who they are interacting with. Again, this is completely up to your discretion, but we do advise that you have at least 2 people at all times, quote unquote, manning the virtual exhibit booth. And the reason why is because during these exhibit hall hours, attendees will be coming in at will, at their own pace, interacting with you, direct messaging with you, joining your live Zoom breakout, and you will be interacting with them, kind of on the fly to speak with them. So you want to make sure that all the attendees and all of these inquiries are handled just as if you were to be at an in-person event. The best advice that I can give you is imagine that you are at an in-person traders market event like we usually are every single year. If you are standing in your booth and you and one of your colleagues has 3 or 4 potential customers or prospects that walk up to your booth, one of you talks to one, the other person talks to another attendee, and you want to make sure that you reach out and notice that other attendees are there waiting to interact with you. So by making sure that you have kind of a checks and balance and that everyone is accounted for, you will not miss any particular attendees that may be interested in interacting with you. That's really important because that could turn a potential new customer into a lost customer. So again, you always want to make sure that anyone from your organization, or at least 2 people from your organization, are quote unquote manning the booth at any given time to help field those inquiries. Next slide, please.
I'm just going to jump in real quick. This is Brooke. You, as exhibitors, you guys submitted information via SurveyMonkey, and one of the questions was booth staff. So the individuals that you did list via SurveyMonkey have been taken care of and registered on our end. And when we go ahead and send the email out with the customized link to your booth, it will go to those individuals. And if someone else registers from your team, all of the booth staff will have access to your booth. So just note that the information that you guys did provide us for the booth staff have been taken care of on our end and will be linked to your booth already. So those individuals will just have to really go in and add a picture if they want and update any of their information on that end.
Thank you, Brooke. Well said. All right. So right here, this slide right here just gives you a quick high-level summary of the actual dedicated and recommended hours that the exhibit hall essentially will be open, and when we recommend that your staff is there, again, quote unquote, manning the virtual exhibit booth. Tuesday from, I'm sorry, can you go back, please? Yep, Tuesday from 2 to 3, Wednesday from 1 to 3:15, and then Thursday 1 to 3. And again, please note that all times are in Central Daylight Time. All right, so this is going to be some information on how to have attendees join your virtual exhibit booth. And by join, we mean basically join a live Zoom feature, just as if you and I are talking right now. So again, when attendees click on the exhibitor tab and they see the list of exhibitors from A to Z, they can click on a particular booth. Then once they're in that company's booth, there will be a tab that says enter the virtual trade show booth, right? Once you click on that, there will be a button that says join meeting now, and that will allow the attendees to essentially start the trade show interaction with the attendees. And more so from your end as a staff, this is where you can start the live interaction with attendees. Again, it'll be done completely through Zoom, so make sure that you have the software downloaded before the event. Definitely do some trial runs with some of your colleagues to make sure that your connection is strong and that the platform is up and running, just because some organizations use Teams or some other platforms, but Pathable is synced directly with Zoom. So please make sure that you test that prior to the event. And last but not least, make sure that you share your video and wait for the attendees, and then you will see them enter the Zoom just as if we were doing it right now. Next slide, please. All right, so schedule of events. Again, what we did for the schedule of events is we tried to make this virtual event mimic the traditional traders market event as much as possible in terms of exhibit hours, education, networking, etc. So our team over the course of the last couple of months basically created this schedule of events on a more conducive setting, but we still have all of the regular components that you're used to seeing at the traders market event, but just on a smaller scale. So the first day of event, you'll see on Tuesday, we will start out with our general session and keynote speaker from 1 to 2. Then from 2 to 3, that'll be the first dedicated hour of exhibit hall hours. And then the rest of the day is broken out into networking sessions, concurrent breakout sessions, and partner sponsored sessions. Same thing with Wednesday and Thursday. There's dedicated exhibit hours, partner sponsored sessions, and concurrent sessions, pop-up sessions, and then the last session on Thursday to conclude the event will be our executive panel and closing remarks. Again, all this information is included on the website, and it provides you with kind of a high-level summary of what to expect, the times of each event, and who will be speaking. Next slide, please. All right, attendee statistics. For all of the exhibitors, this is actually probably the most important and beneficial components of this platform. Although we are not at the in-person event, Pathable does have a component where you are able to capture and export all of the different attendee leads that interact with your virtual booth, request a meeting with you or set a meeting with you, and you are able to export all of that data and analytics at the conclusion of the event, and then follow up with them to hopefully turn them into new customers. This is very nice because compared to the in-person event, if you forget somebody's name or you lose a business card or you don't know what company a specific individual that you met with is with, all of this information is captured in real time on the Pathable platform. So to walk through this, when you are in your profile, there will be a button up at the top that is clearly labeled leads. If you click on leads, this will show you any person who visited your virtual exhibit booth. So throughout the 3 days, any attendee that actually clicked on your virtual exhibit booth, their data, first name, last name, company name, and title will be saved and stored in an Excel document, which you can then export at the conclusion of the event. Simultaneously, the leads platform, or I'm sorry, the leads tab is any visitor that requested information on your page that wanted to learn more about your organization. So again, the difference between the visits and leads is visits are people that simply just clicked on your booth. And then the leads are people that requested information or set a meeting with you. And again, all of this information will be included post-event, and their information, including first name, last name, company title, and location, will be included, assuming that they did opt into this feature during the registration process. Again, when you are looking for this information before, during, or after the event, you simply click on the Manage button in the top right corner, click on Leads, and then there will be a little drop-down box that says Download Leads, and that information will be provided via Excel after the event. Alrighty, again, this is just a high-level screenshot of what I just went over. When you click on the leads button, you'll see here, this is just an example, but Brooks' first name, last name, the company, how many times that individual visited your booth, and then there is the download leads button in the top right corner. And you'll be able to export all this information at the conclusion of the event. Next slide, please. All right, this information is kind of just to piggyback to the attendee statistics, but if an individual attendee wanted to request specific information from you or your company, they also have the availability to hit this request info button. And once they do that, you as the exhibitor would basically get pinged on your end in the platform, notifying you that you have an attendee that is eager to meet with you and is requesting information. It could be something as general as, you know, tell me more about your company or the products or industries that you serve, or as something as detailed as, you know, who are your current distributors in British Columbia. I mean, it's, you know, completely up to the attendee what type of information they are requesting. But again, this is very similar to an attendee walking up to your booth and striking up a conversation with you. Same idea, but they are just doing it through this virtual platform versus in person. Next slide, please. All righty. these private meetings, you also have the availability to create, and you can also send private messages through the platform as well. So when you first log into the Pathable platform, up in the top right-hand corner, you will see the 4 or 5 different tabs: the home, schedule, people, exhibitors, sponsors, etc. And when you click on the People's tab, you can actually search an individual attendee based on their company name, their first name, their last name. And then once you find that individual person, you can actually send them a direct message or a private message, or even schedule a meeting directly. This is an awesome benefit and a really cool function of platform, of Pathable. And all you have to do is, once you find that individual that you want to interact with, you click on the 3 little buttons and you can either view their profile, send them a message, or schedule a meeting. And the moment that you send them a message or schedule a meeting, they will be notified. Up in the top right-hand corner, there'll be a little bell icon, and there'll be a notification saying that you have received a direct message or an inquiry from an attendee to schedule a meeting. So very, very cool function, and certainly hope that all of you folks take advantage of this, prior and during the event with potential customers. Next slide, please.
All right, this is Brooke. We're going to go over a couple of resources for all of you. One-on-one meetings. Our staff would love to meet one-on-one with you and your team during a scheduled 15-minute touch-based meeting next week. During this one-on-one meeting, your team will have the opportunity to ask specific questions related to your virtual booth. So with that deadline that Rob mentioned earlier, this coming Friday, we are going to be sending out the specific link to your booth staff that was registered, and they will be able to access the platform along with your virtual booth. You'll see everything is already imported on your behalf. So this will be the opportunity when you guys can start, going through the platform and then come to that one-on-one meeting with any specific questions, so that we can help you with any issues you may be having or any specific questions for your booth. So be on the lookout for an Outlook meeting from myself, Rob, or Kelsey. We're gonna take and split the exhibitors and just schedule one-on-one meetings with you guys for next week. So come with any questions you guys have, and we will help you out with that. Another resource that we want to offer to all of the exhibitors is office hours. So we have scheduled office hours for next week, Monday, October 19th at 1 p.m., along with Tuesday, October 20th at 11 a.m. We will go ahead following this webinar. We'll send you a recap with the recording and these resources. We'll also include a link to these office hours. So if you have any questions that you think you don't have right now on the webinar, or they come up, tomorrow, definitely pop in these office hours, and us three will be there as a resource and happy to help and answer any questions. The marketing kit, we put one together. Following the webinar, we'll also include this in our email. But this will assist with your promotion of your virtual booth along with the event. Pages 3 through 5 are tailored exhibitor messages for your team to utilize. So be sure to look through the whole kit and start using, our signature that we've provided for you guys, and start promoting your booth presence. And then also, if you are a sponsor, there was a separate confirmation email that was sent to your primary contact from my colleague Kelsey. So if you do have any questions regarding your sponsorship, don't hesitate to reach out to Kelsey, and we will get everything taken care of for you guys. Again, this is a conclusion of our webinar. I know there was a lot of information, but thank you again for your time. We will now be taking questions, so if you haven't already, submit them via the chat feature. And we also have recorded this webinar, so we will have that posted to our website and also sent to you following this webinar. Kelsey, do you want to go ahead and start looking through some of the questions so we can get some answers?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I do want to address one question that just came in regarding how the Zoom feature works within the platform and how that's different from requesting a meeting or requesting information within the platform. So that's a good question. So keep in mind within Pathable that they utilize all of Zoom's features. So think of it as Pathable being the overall umbrella platform that everyone is using. But Zoom is within that. So anything that is utilizing the video feature or requesting a meeting with you, this is all through Zoom. So whenever you as an exhibitor are managing your live virtual booth, keep in mind this is utilizing Zoom. So what your team has probably been using internally is the exact same and what we're using right now for Zoom as well. So keep in mind that that is all within Zoom, but it is placed within the Pathable platform itself. And then keep in mind that attendees do have multiple options. So they'll be able to essentially select an option to request a meeting with your team. They'll be able to request information from your team. And to address an additional question here, if they do not select request meeting or request information, but let's say they just click on some of the assets your team has provided, such as PDFs or videos, we do still capture that information as well. So for instance, as an example with an in-person event, you may not be able to capture that information if an attendee were to walk by your booth and they don't actually talk to anyone from your team. In this case, if someone were to quote unquote visit your virtual booth, you will be able to capture that information just if they were to click on things. So do keep that in mind that we capture all of that data. An additional question was regarding logging in through the booth's login or how you log into your individual booth. So keep in mind we will provide, no one has been given access yet, so you haven't missed anything. So we will be providing that access to you, and keep in mind when you are logging into your booth, a lot of that information, as Brooke and Rob have noted, has already been collected. So a majority of that information should be in there, and really it'll be more about any additional finishing touches or let's say new collateral that your team might have that you'd like to upload into your booth. Another question we received was regarding if exhibitors can schedule a meeting with more than one booth staff participating in the same meeting with the customer. That's a really good question. So keep in mind during our live show hours that we mostly recommend, and we know that every team is a little different, and I know Rob touched on this a little bit, that depending on how you'd like to structure your team, our best recommendation is to have at least 1 to 2 people manning your virtual booth during live hours, and then to also have 1, maybe 2 staff members, depending on the traction you're seeing during live hours, ready to take any private meetings or private appointments depending on how many people you might have in your virtual booth at once. So keep in mind that you will be able to use that breakout feature in Zoom, and we will of course show this to each one of your individual teams during our one-on-one meetings that we set with you next week, just so in that way your team has a good grip on how easy it is to set any of these breakout meetings, for instance, if you'd like to take a conversation more privately versus keeping it in that general Zoom live room that you'll be hosting. Another question regarding the final deadline for editing within the booth. I know I saw a couple questions come in through the webinar or throughout the webinar today. So keep in mind that we do recommend this Friday the 16th as a deadline to get us a lot of your assets if you have not already. Keep in mind that next week NAWLA as a team plans to soft launch the platform to attendees. So that's why we recommend this Friday being the deadline. Essentially, this ensures that your booth is in the most presentable possible fashion prior to attendees logging on and seeing your booth ahead of time before the actual live show. So keep in mind, we do make that recommendation, but technically as an exhibitor, you do have access by the time we give you access through the virtual event to make any additional edits. We do recommend that you make as many edits as possible ahead of time this week because by the time people have access, they'll be able to kind of go through and take a look at your booth and begin setting meetings with you.
Hey everyone, this is Rob. Just something to add into in terms of being proactive, reaching out to other attendees and trying to kind of preset these meetings. Remember that the attendee list thus far is actually published on the NAWLA Exchange homepage. So if you're actually on the event homepage, there is a little tab that says attendee list, and you can actually see every current attendee from A through Z, first name, last name, title, company, etc. So, very, very similar to an in-person meeting. The more proactive you are prior to the event, the better you're going to become the event time. Those that are savvy and put in the work prior to the event usually see the success when the event comes around. So what I would recommend is start scanning the attendee list. If there is a particular individual or individuals that you would like to meet or you want to set a meeting with, go ahead and start reaching out to them now. Some of these folks you may already have their contact information with or for, which is, saving you one step. Some of the other folks that you may want to reach out to that you don't necessarily have their contact information, you can do one of two things. You can, do good old prospecting, like most sales individuals are used to. You can, try to find their information via LinkedIn or simply pick up the phone and call their company and try to get in touch with them prior to the event. But as a default, you can wait until the event too, and then you can send them direct messages, interact with them in the platform. But it's the best piece of advice, and I tell everyone this, especially for the in-person event, is don't wait until the week of the event or a couple of days prior to the event. You should be reaching out to attendees now. And trying to fill your calendar and schedule meetings as soon as possible, because at the end of the day, there's only so many distributors and wholesalers, and everyone's competing for their time, right? So it is a bit of a challenge, and you are competing against other folks to get that face time with potential new customers. And the individuals and exhibitors that are more proactive, those are the ones that are going to find more success. Something to keep in mind.
Thanks, Rob. Kelsey, do we have any other questions that have come through?
Yes, actually there's one more asking about if we will know if someone is in our booth, quote unquote, in real time and be able to engage with them via chat, or if the attendee needs to initiate with the exhibitor. So that's a good question. So just keep in mind that similar to how right now we are hosting a webinar via Zoom, that during our live show hours, your team will be hosting your own live virtual booth via Zoom. So keep in mind that if anyone joins that Zoom meeting, if anyone clicks that, yes, I'd like to join during the live hours, then you will be able to see that attendee pop up on the right-hand side of your screen, and you'll be able to field those questions. What I would recommend is that if you see people joining, and let's say you see someone that you'd like to discuss something privately with, or you'd like to have a separate chat with them, then you have one of your other staff members use the breakout feature via Zoom and then have a separate meeting with them. Therefore, your main staff, yourself, and however many staff members you have working your main virtual booth via Zoom are then still running the main booth, while you might have one or two staff members taking people aside similar to what you would do in person, where you have some people managing the full booth and some having private conversations.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelsey.
Yep.
Any others that have trickled in?
It looks like none so far, but if there are any additional questions, and I'm sure Brooke, you'll touch on this as well, to not hesitate to reach out to Rob, Brooke, or myself via email here on this slide, or to give us a call, and keep in mind that we will be setting up those one-on-one meetings with your team for next week, and then to ensure that if you have any additional questions regarding your specific virtual booth, that we'll ensure to address those.
Great. Thank you again, everyone, for your continued support of NAWLA and your continued patience and understanding as we continue to shift and evolve to a virtual experience for our members. Stay healthy, and we look forward to visiting you all in your virtual booths. Have a great rest of the day.